Is the bill unconstitutional, as some conservatives insist, or are these lawsuits a waste of taxpayer money? Roger Pilon is Vice President of Legal Affairs for the Cato Institute and served in the Reagan administration. Ian Millhiser is an attorney and policy analyst at the Center for American Progress. Roger, let's start with you. Make your best case. Why is this unconstitutional?
Let's start with the mistake in your lead-in. It's not 13 Republicans. There's one Democrat Attorney General that barred this suit as well. Why is it unconstitutional? First of all, let's start with the Constitution itself. Nowhere does the Constitution authorize the Congress to enact a health care bill of this kind. Now, the modern constitutional law is read to allow it to regulate anything and everything. So that's the first problem right there. This suit, insofar as it argues that the Congress cannot regulate and pass this kind of legislation, is probably not going to go anywhere.
Let's take up that issue first. Ian Millhiser, how about it?
Well, let's start with the text of the Constitution. The Constitution expressly says that Congress has the power to regulate interstate commerce. Well, what does that mean? I actually agree with Justice Scalia, who's one of the most conservative members of the Supreme Court. He has said that interstate commerce means the power to regulate economic activity. Congress has broad, sweeping power to regulate economic activity. And there's just no question that health reform regulates economic activity. There's a huge market for health insurance. And I also want to push back on something that Roger said when he suggested that there's nothing in the Constitution that allows the regulation of health care. If Congress can't pass laws regulating health care, Medicare is unconstitutional, Medicaid's unconstitutional, S-chip's
well, let's ask Roger about that. Roger, how about it?
Absolutely right, Ian. I'm not going to disagree with you. What we're talking about here is the distinction between the Constitution and modern post-New Deal constitutional law. The founders would be turning in their graves if they see what we've done under the commerce power. But you said that authorizes Congress to regulate commerce. Here you've got a bill that requires people to buy insurance. That's not regulating commerce. That's regulating human activity, indeed human inactivity.
Except that, Roger, on the state level, they allow that. They force people to have, there's a mandate that you buy car insurance on the state level. So, but in any case, Ian will give you the last word.
No, don't let that one go, because that is a perfect example of the misunderstanding here. That is a law which requires you to buy insurance for the protection of third parties. This is requiring you to buy insurance
protection
for your own
yourself.
self.
Right. Ian, you get the last word.
Well, sure thing. I think it's silly to say the Constitution doesn't allow Medicare or Medicaid or any of these things. One thing that the Constitution also says, in addition to allowing the regulation of commerce, which, by the way, human beings do, so the idea that human beings can't be regulated is a bit silly, is it allows Congress to spend money for any purpose for the general welfare, is what the Constitution says. So I think the language is very clear that this bill is constitutional.
And that's what we call
most legal experts would agree, but Roger Pilon, we'll see what kind of lawsuit your conservative allies can come up with. Roger Pilon and Ian Millhiser, thank you both so much. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Up next.